Hello lovelies, today we're diving into one of my favorite fashion icons of all time, Princess Catherine of Wales. Princess Catherine of Wales is more than just a royal. She's a global fashion icon, and her wardrobe tells the story of her journey from university student to dating a prince to now a future queen. So how has her style evolved, and why is she considered so timeless? And more importantly, how can you recreate her outfits from shopping your own closet in these fashion principles that she seems to really stick to? This is one of my newer series, and last month we did Carolyn Bessette Kennedy's. I also love to hear who you think we should do next. This is so fun. I love celebrating women of all walks of life. It's so fascinating to me how style really does embody their lifestyle, where they come from, what they believe in, and there's something to learn from every single one of them. By the way, I'm Ziba, and I'm so happy you're here. Make sure to hit the subscribe button for more fashion and styling videos. I love covering classic style, wearable trends, and fashion icons like these. Before she was a duchess, Kate Middleton was a student at Marlborough College and later St. Andrews University, where she met Prince William. And a really fun fact is that at their first charity event, Kate wore a very sheer dress on the runway. She was a model for the event, and she did it on purpose to catch his attention, and it worked. Allegedly. During these years, her style is what you would expect from a university student, very casual and functional, bootcut jeans tucked into boots, chunky belts, very 2000s, and plenty of cardigans. She also wore a lot of British high street brands like Topshop as well. So her style in the early years were some that we can all relate to, especially if we are of her generation. We kind of grew up at that time. I can completely relate to her style. And then as her relationship with Prince William grew more public and she's now having to navigate being in the public eye constantly, you kind of see a little bit of a shift to more of like a polished pre-royal era, where she's very much true to her style, but she starts to experiment with more structured coats, wrap dresses, and sophisticated silhouettes. Of course, we can't forget the one standout moment of the engagement, where she comes out this beautiful royal blue dress that was very symbolic. This was back in 2010 too, so Instagram wasn't even a thing yet, and this dress sold out instantly, and it became known as the Kate effect, where she has consistently sold out a lot of the things that she ends up wearing, and just proof of how significant her influence is. Then soon after that, in 2011, when she officially becomes a princess and marries Prince William, this was of course a huge turning point. So let's talk about the dress, because I feel like there's been a lot of copycats of this beautiful lace style that was imitated by brides everywhere. It was designed by Sarah Burton for Alexander McQueen. And there was no corners cut. Not only did it have a beautiful 9-foot long train, lace sleeves, a very kind of Disney princess fitted bodice, but also all the hand appliques was a different flower, and they all meant something different, which is something that I discovered in my research that I had no idea about. For example, roses for England, which is an important part of their history. The red rose symbolizes the House of Lancaster, which is the lineage that began the House of Tudor, and then you have the white roses for the House of York. Also thistles for Scotland, daffodils for Wales, and even shamrocks for Ireland. So in essence, it wasn't just a wedding dress, it was a complete statement honoring tradition, but it also felt modern and very much her. And from this moment, her style really shifted towards tailored coats and sheath dresses, of course, hats for royal engagements, further reinforcing her role of being aspirational and inspirational as well. Fast forwarding to today, Catherine's style has evolved to something very sleek, streamlined, and iconic. She's a mastermind of balancing that functionality with royal style, because she's a mother of 3 kids, a lot of royal duties. She's also been battling cancer. She's had so much thrown at her, and she always pulls everything together with a lot of grace, class, and that inner strength that is one of her most compelling characteristics as a fashion icon. And you see these intangible things with all fashion icons. The example of Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, no matter how she felt about things or what scenes she was thrown into, she just had this stealthy confidence about her, which is of course true of Kate as well. But with her, we see a much more nuanced woman, just because she's been in the public eye a lot longer. She's a princess, and we have so much more footage of her that we're able to really get a sense of who she is. And what always comes through for me is just an incredible combination of grit, elegance, and perseverance as well. I kind of rolled up into this big concentric circle of what I would call class. So always a sense of stealthiness about her and consistency, which is very difficult to do when you're in the public eye. If you think of almost any celebrity, you can think of anybody, even like Reese Witherspoon, for example, has had like a moment where she acts out in public, or, you know, you have people like being caught doing something they're not supposed to do, or maybe like stumbling home like Kate Moss did like last month in Paris. So you have these fashion icons that that maybe don't hold it together in the same way. And with Kate, like there's just like no mistakes, you know, and that takes a great deal of strength in class as well. And just the way she has handled her disease and just the critics, which are absolutely awful. I don't know what's wrong with people. How can you say anything negatively about someone battling cancer? Like, I don't, how can you say anything at all except like cheering them on, you know? If she wanted to wear her hair blonde, even if it was a wig, like who cares? Like she looks gorgeous. So now that we've seen her evolution, let's break down 5 key fashion rules that Princess Catherine of Wales lives by and how you can use them too. Rule number 1 is tailoring is everything. Her outfits always fit flawlessly, whether that is the inseam, which is a huge common mistake for most of us, is not getting the inseam right, and it makes a big difference in your daily style when you have pants that are not too short or they're not dragging on the ground. It's an instant outfit upgrade when you can get that length right, and no one knows it better than me because I take almost daily footage of my outfits. I'm like, wow, how is it so difficult to get it just right? And that tailoring is always perfect for her, not just in the inseam, of course, but her waist to the way that her coats and jackets look and feel, from the arm length, everything is perfectly calculated. So anytime you can find a gorgeous tailored piece, or you can spend a few more dollars on getting it done professionally on something you're gonna wear a lot, then it is completely worth it. Think of her coat dresses from Alexander McQueen or her blazers. Every seam is intentional. Her jeans are perfectly cut as well, and usually paired with knee-high boots, which always helps elongate the frame. So the takeaway here is you don't need to spend a ton of money, but you do need to find a tailor if the piece calls for it. Number 2 is there's no neutral that she doesn't love. However, she uses them strategically with pops of color. Her foundation is navy, camel, cream, black. And then from there, she builds on creating an outfit where she chooses select pieces to create a pop of color. It also seems like she keeps neutrals for everyday wear and then uses color strategically to really stand out in special events. The other way that she also uses color is she's a master at monochrome. There's so many looks of her looking gorgeous in all white, all red, all navy, just very, very striking. Tonal dressing as well is something that she leans into, and this is really easy to recreate yourself. Number 3, classic silhouettes over trends. This just saves you from so much insanity. She really leans on timeless shapes like A-line dresses, midi skirts, and structured coats. For example, one of my favorite looks is her Trooping the Color of 2019. It looks so elegant, but could have just looked as beautiful and timeless and relevant in the 1950s. And I bet you it'll be the same in 50 years from now as well. The takeaway is build a wardrobe that flatters you, that you like to wear, rather than trends that come and go. Number 4 is accessories are minimal, but very intentional. So like Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, she wasn't, anti-jewelry. We really saw that with CBK, where she just really did not wear it on a day-to-day basis or even with special events. Fortunately, we see the Princess of Wales wearing beautiful pieces, but strategically and not like overdone. Of course, if you have a job that requires you to wear a tiara and these like beautiful estate jewels that are, part of the country's heritage, there's probably no getting around wearing jewelry, but in her day-to-day looks, like the ones that are very casual, where she just seems to just be kind of walking out into the English countryside, which, by the way, I have a whole video dedicated on how to style the English countryside aesthetic. But she seems to choose a couple of pieces that are very tasteful, always classic, but make a statement. Above and beyond the jewelry as well, you see her loving clutches, kind of like smaller bags, pumps that aren't too high. They're not that low either, so I kind of love that because I love heels. The 5th style rule that she always uses, which is probably one of my favorites, is style repeating. Unlike many people in her position or other public figures, the Kardashians, she's not afraid to wear something again. This makes her so relatable, and it makes her seem like she's a real person versus just like who she is, right? I love that the outfits that she wears are even like years apart. So it's such a testament to choosing quality pieces that you really love, that flatter you, that you're gonna wear this year and the next year, and it's a really great example to follow. Her Alexander McQueen coat dress, for example, is one that she has worn time and time again, and one that I think she feels really good in and she really shines in. But why recreate the wheel and why get something new when this is just a beautiful forever piece? I think what this really projects ultimately is confidence and sustainability. And the way that you can kind of emulate this as well is don't be afraid to repeat outfits, even if you already posted it on Instagram or somebody saw you in the outfit. It's like even like my group of friends, I think we're always like afraid to show up in the same thing, but that's crazy. You can always change the hairstyle, the shoes, or the accessories to make it feel fresh. Make sure to check out the first video where I recreated a few of her signature looks that you probably already have in your closet. I'll see you there, and if you learned something today, make sure to hit the subscribe button.